This episode is brought to you by Groove Washer, the best record cleaners and protective sleeves for your vinyl collection. Ask for the Groove Washer from your local shop or go to groovewasher.com. Discount code VinylGuide10. And now, on with the show.
Well, hey everyone, it's Nate. Welcome to episode 354 of The Vinyl Guide, the podcast for record collectors and music nerds. And today we've got a fantastic guest joining us from a band that I've been absolutely obsessed with for the last few years. It's Sam Quartin of the Bobby Lees. Now, for those of you who may be new to the music of the Bobby Lees, this is a four-piece, highly energetic, intensely vulnerable. They're witty, they're dramatically deep, perhaps even a little bit volatile. And I've been a fan of the Bobby Lees since their last LP, Skin Suit, and I'm very happy to share that they have a new LP, Bellevue, which is coming out October 7th on Ipecac Records. I absolutely love it when a great band meets a great label, and today we talk to Sam about that journey of the Bobby Lees, the various records and vinyl collectibles and their short but very focused history. We talk about the band coming together, the records of her youth, connecting with various producers, including Vance Powell and John Spencer, what it's like having artists like Iggy Pop and Henry Rollins being very vocal about the love for the Bobby Lees. Sam is gracious, she's authentic, she speaks her truth, so even if you're not familiar with the Bobby Lees yet, this episode is a great primer for why you may want to further explore their work. Now, just a reminder, the Bobby Lees' new album, Bellevue, is out October 7th. There are already a few tracks out there on streaming platforms you can listen to right now. There's also some videos for a few of those songs, and perhaps most important for the record nerds like myself, a limited, clear Coke bottle vinyl pressing available at thebobbylees.bandcamp.com. I strongly recommend grabbing one of these limited pressings because, as you'll hear in the interview, nearly all early pressings of the Bobby Lees works gets very hard to find. So grab a copy while you can. Limited vinyl pressings at thebobbylees.bandcamp.com. And finally, if you enjoyed this interview, make sure to set your mobile podcast app to follow or subscribe to the Vinyl Guide podcast. It's absolutely free and it gives you immediate access to over 350 other episodes and interviews with the likes of Brian Baker of Minor Threat and Bad Religion, episode 351 of the Vinyl Guide, John Dwyer of the OCs and Castleface Records, episode 331, Dale Crover of Melvins, episode 305, Amel and the Sniffers, episode 301, punk and vinyl fanatic Fred Armisen of Saturday Night Live in Portlandia, episode 289, Eamon Sanwith of The Chats, episode 256, and many, many, many more. Just follow the Vinyl Guide on your podcast app, download, scroll, listen, and enjoy. And now, and enough of the chit-chat, let's get into our conversation with Sam Quartin of the Bobby Lees.
Hey.
Why, hello there.
Hello, sir.
How are you today, Sam?
I'm doing very well. I just had a nice walk. Doing good.
Upstate New York, Woodstock.
At the moment, I'm visiting my dad in New Jersey. So I am not, but I'll be back up in Woodstock tomorrow.
Oh, got it. All right.
Yeah. Where are you at?
I'm in Sydney, Australia.
Oh, fancy.
Yes.
How long have you been there?
20 years. I moved here in 2001. And
okay.
Have you ever been down here?
No, not yet. I'd love to go.
It's a hard place to leave. I think you'll when you guys get down here, you'll look around and you'll agree that it is it is quite the paradise.
I want to move. Cool.
Yeah, that was kind of my reaction. Let's talk about the Bobby Lees. This album, Belleville. Sorry. I could edit this, by the way.
Okay, it's all good. I mean, maybe your version's better. What were you going to say? Belleville? That sounds cool.
Yes, I haven't. Yeah. All my coffee hasn't kicked in yet. Yeah, the new album Bellevue, just for everyone to know, out on Ipecac Records October 7th. There's vinyl copies now. I think a clear vinyl copy that you can order. This is one of the most exciting records I've heard in a long, long time. And I'm so stoked on the Bobby Lees. I get the goosebumps, and I don't get them that often. And I've got them not only on the last album, but this new one. There's not a song on it I don't love. So really well done to you and the gang.
I'll tell them you said that. Thank you.
Pass my regards, please.
I will.
For those unindoctrinated yet, how would you describe the music of the Bobby Lees?
Oh shit. I'm so bad at this, honestly. I would like you to describe it.
Me?
Yeah.
I guess it's garage rock. It's blues for Gen Z. It's very exciting and very energetic. I know that. I'd
say the energy. Yeah, we try to put everything we have into whatever we're doing. So if you can hear the energy, that feels good.
Oh, absolutely. Now, it seems to me that, I mean, when you sing, and I imagine, do you write the lyrics? Do you write 100% of the lyrics? Okay.
I do, yeah. Okay. Except for the one song that's a cover. Be My Enemy is a cover of a Waterboy song. I did not write those.
Okay. Now, when you're writing your lyrics, it sounds to me, again, from an outsider's perspective, it sounds to me like you're actually really living them.
Yeah.
And just mustering the energy, not only to write, to record, but also to perform those. Is that more or less what you're doing there?
I mean, most of them definitely come from like real, experiences or interactions. Before we play, I still get super nervous, or not even nervous now, kind of like I don't want to do it right before. So I always pray to get possessed by some kind of energy that's more exciting than me. And sometimes I do feel like something comes that isn't me, and then the show feels really good. And then sometimes I'm just like human Sam stumbling around, just getting through the set, if that makes any sense. But yeah. My favorite shows are when the energy like feels really good and comes from somewhere.
And have you worked out kind of a way to increase the chances of that energy coming to you, to getting in that zone?
I don't know. It kind of depends. I don't know. Most of the time I do kind of the same thing. I like pray to the people that are dead that I love, like musicians I love. And if they're like, one spark of their energy wants to enter my body, I get kind of weird before it. And then I've done a couple shows where I don't do that. And then I don't know the difference, but it's like a weird tradition or something. I have to say a prayer before we play.
Oh, all right. Well, I used to do comedy, and I do the same sort of thing. I would just need a moment to myself and just try to, not that I believe in spirituality that much, but I would just hope for some spark of energy from the room.
Yeah,
coming in.
Totally. It could be from the air. Yeah, from something that's not me. And also doing something that's fun that day, like getting out of your head. I don't know, just something like if there's anywhere that has rides, we like to go on rides, or anywhere that's got like good donuts or, just trying to have a good time before the show. Yeah.
But yeah. Cause I guess you would have the songs, you know how to do it. It's just, there's that next level of energy or je ne sais quoi that's hard to kind of put your thumb on, that you hope enters at the given time.
Sure. Or we try to kind of like this last tour when we were in Europe and we did 5 weeks in a row. And I don't want to say you get bored, but you'd want to like surprise yourself or do something, try new things or push beyond what you've done before to keep it interesting for yourself. So like Mackie decided he wanted to start getting up like out of the drum seat, and I don't know what he does, but for certain songs he'll just, I don't know what he's doing behind me, but he's not playing drums, he's like swimming or I don't know what he's doing, weird shit on the ground. So I don't know if that thing's gonna stick, but we're kind of in a phase of just trying out things to keep it exciting, or like I love when there's a stage that has different, like a jungle gym has like different size, not amps, but like those boxes that you step on. Those are fun because you can kind of jump around. And I don't like to be confined to one little space. I like to be able to, when we play a club that's really tight, the last club we played that was really, really tight, I felt so uncomfortable. The only place I could go was on top of the bar because I just needed like some air. So I ended up having to go on there, and then I busted my ankle jumping off, which was unfortunate. That sucked. I was on crutches in Europe. That was sucky, but it healed. It healed. All good now.
So, with the amount of energy that you guys put out there, and no doubt have, do many shows get out of control?
What do you mean by out of control?
Like the crowd, just like, the reaction that you're not expecting and perhaps even a little scared of.
There was a funny one in Brighton. These people that seemed very intoxicated wanted to come on stage, and I'll people can do whatever they want. I feel like a show is a time to completely let yourself go and do what you want to do. But then they didn't stop. Like, people kept coming on stage, and then there was like I didn't know where to go. That was the one time where I was like, oh, okay, this is happening. Where to go right now? But it was fun. It was a good. I found a place to hold on to the ceiling. There was like a pole, and just kind of finished from there. And but sometimes they're very civil. It depends. I mean, we've played shows that you feel like you're at the zoo, and it's just a bunch of dead carcasses in front of you, and you're like, okay, here we go. Let's just try something new, I guess. But yeah.
So you guys are touring full steam after the pandemic. It's been on for a while, yeah.
Since last fall, that's when we started going kind of full. But I mean, we had, right before the pandemic, we had kind of committed. That was 2019. We decided, like, Kendall dropped out of school, and it was like, okay, we're going to do this full time. Like, everyone's all in, and we had about 80 shows booked at that time. I was the agent, and we booked a shitload of shows, and then everything got canceled. So we were supposed to start really touring, but then we had to wait till, I guess, the end of 20 or 21 to kind of pick those back up, the ones we could pick back up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go back a bit in terms of the records of your youth. Now, our show is about vinyl records and record collecting and that sort of thing. Are you a record collector? Do you have records, physical form music?
I do have. I love physical form records, but I would not call myself a collector by any means. I feel like I'm not smart enough to be a collector, but I have I have certain records that are just my favorite things, or just that I feel like are very special. Like one of my favorites is this live birthday party album. It's 81 to 82. I'm like late on that one. I only heard about them like 4 or 5 years ago. Nick Cave's first band, and this live album is so amazing. I love it. It's really, really. Have you heard that one?
Yeah. Birthday Party's huge in Australia. There are.
Oh, are they?
There are. Well, they're from Melbourne originally. So yeah, they are Ramones.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know that. That's so interesting. Yeah. I don't know other records. I love Captain Beefheart. I love the Safe as Milk record. That one's a special one. I'm really into Muddy Waters. I have like a bunch of. I've got like the London Sessions one. I love that cover. I don't know. My dad had a record player in the house growing up. He loved a lot of Elvis, a lot of Little Richard, a lot of James Brown. My mom liked the Rolling Stones a lot. Patsy Cline was really into that. So I listened to that stuff.
So you grew up in a very musical house then, it sounds like. Music was encouraged, not only listening, but also playing?
No, I never picked up an instrument as a kid. My parents were like salespeople, but they liked good music. But there was no like creativity happening in the home. I didn't I didn't explore that until I started working around indie films like 8 years ago. And I got a role. I was like pursuing acting for a bit before the band, and I got a role where I had to play guitar for the part and write a couple songs for the part. So that was when I started playing, and then I met the band like 2 years after that, 5 years ago. And so when I met the band, I mean, I could barely, like, I still can only play on the E string. I mean, I can a little bit move to the A string, but I really know just basic chords. And that's how I write, just with like 2 or 3 chords. I get really overwhelmed when there's lots of choices in any field. I don't like choices. I like things really simple. Like I can't turn on a smart TV and pick a movie to watch. I'll start crying. I like to like go to like, have the real things in front of me and pick. But I'm getting off topic here. What were we talking about? Yeah.
No, I mean, you're picking up music and starting to write music.
Oh, starting to write music. The first thing that I like heard and I was like, I want to copy that. That's cool. Was a Bo Diddley song. Bo Diddley Boss, Baby Diamond, that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I can play that. That's 2 chords, basically. And at least the way I was playing it, I don't know if it actually is, but I heard it and was like, oh, that makes sense. And then, so I feel like everything I wrote at first was just like shittier versions of that kind of like simple blues stuff. And then when I met Kendall and Mackie, they were like real, when I say a real musician, like they had a language and a knowledge that I didn't have. So I could play Kendall, 2 chords and she's like, oh, okay. And then just turns it into, finds all the parts and stuff. So that's kind of how we started writing. Once we got to know each other more, like Skin Suit, especially the John Spencer record, that one was mostly me bringing a very simple idea and then them like turning it into a song, fleshing it out.
Right. Okay. So songwriting it sounds like you come to the group with some ideas and maybe a skeleton of how you'd like it to go, and then they work with each other, or you guys then work as a unit to then kind of fill in the muscle and the skin.
Totally. There's been a couple, like Death Train was something Kendall came up with, that she liked that. And then I did not like that song. And it was like right when COVID, like we were like locked in our hotel room. We were supposed to go to South by Southwest, a festival in Austin in the US that was in, I guess, it was right in the March, right before the shutdown. And so we were at this hotel, not sure what to do at that point. And we're like, all right, I guess we should start writing if we can't play anything and we're here. So that song came about from that. So she started and I just wrote the lyrics and the whatever's going on top of her idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like the song, the opening song on Skin
Bellevue.
Move.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. It sounds like you guys are writing it right there. Dun, da, 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 da. You're correcting the.
So,
was that? Did we actually hear that being created?
Getting written? No, I had come up with that one before, and then in the studio, I forget all the time how to play the songs I write. Like if I don't, I have a very forgetful mind with certain things. And so that was us going to record it. And I was playing the wrong thing. And Mackie had to sing it out for me like, da, 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 da. And I was like, oh, and then I did the right thing. So that was, and we just kept it. And then him messing up at the end, I liked the way that sounded. And so did John. Yeah. Or not messing up, but him being like, shit, yeah,
I stepped on you, Kendall. Yeah. So what begins first, the melody, the music, or the lyrics?
I don't know. I think it kind of depends on each song.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you feel yourself doing more often? Like starting with lyrics, starting with an idea?
I mean, I always have like a little book I carry around just to jot down little ideas, and sometimes they're accompanied by a melody, but sometimes just like I don't know, just words. I feel like the stuff that I kind of like we've made, I didn't write. I feel like it just kind of comes really quickly, and then the stuff that I'm like, revisiting or trying to work out usually is the lamer of the group.
Oh, okay. It feels forced.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You've got this acting background, acting career as well that's moving in parallel with the band. How does your acting experience influence the music?
That's interesting that you would think it's that way. It's, to me, not moving in parallel at all. But to me, like I do the band's takes up most of my time. I left my agent manager acting stuff in 2019 when I decided to do the band full time. Mostly just because personality wise, I have yet to meet someone in that industry. I'm sure they're there. I just did not align with someone that was like a genuinely kind human being, and at the end of the day, that I want to be around people that I feel good around. Just so much bullshit is in that field. I mean, it's everywhere, but I feel like really a lot of bullshit just like gravitates towards entertainment. And I just couldn't. I just and the constantly wanting for what you don't have, like the audition process, that is like a recipe for a really unsatisfying day. So now I just do projects. My friend, like the last few years, I've been lucky enough to work. I love being a part of a film. It's like summer camp. I love getting to like be in this little universe for a month with people and get to know them really quickly. But I only do it with like friends projects or if something randomly comes up. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I stand corrected. So yeah, because the things looking at your IMDb, there's things that are still happening in 21 and 22. So
yeah.
So you're no longer really pursuing acting as a career, but you do, I guess, pet projects and things for friends in the community that you trust.
Yeah, I was able, like, when we couldn't really play, like, we had that pocket of time when we could, like, last year, top of last year in 2021, when everything was still getting canceled or pushed back. I did a horror movie called Candyland out in Montana. And that was really fun because I was able to get Kendall and Nick jobs. So we all went out, we drove out together from New York. Mackie had no interest. He was at home drawing. He's got his own creative endeavors. He does really cool animation too. So that was fun. We got to spend a month together in Montana, and Kendall got to play a cult member. I got her in there for a couple days. It's about a young girl who runs away from her cult and joins a gang of truck stop hookers, and I play one of the hookers. And it was fun. We shot at like a truck stop in Montana, and it was interesting. Yeah.
So tell us the story of forming the Bobby Lees.
We'll be back after these messages.
Hey, record nerds, don't forget to clean your records with the very best and safest record cleaner, the Groove Washer. Make your records look and sound their very best and store them with confidence using the new Groove Washer Groove Guard record sleeves. You gotta try this out. It makes a huge difference to the quality of your vinyl experience. Ask for the Groove Washer by name at your local record store and accept no substitutes. Or head over to groovewasher.com and use discount code VinylGuide10.
All hail the Groove Washer.
That's groovewasher.com, discount code VinylGuide10.
Now we return to the program, already in progress.
No limits.
So, tell us the story of forming the Bobby Lees.
I moved up to Woodstock. I was trying to find a band in Brooklyn. Like I'd put ads out. I would try to write with different people, and I never felt a connection. And then I moved up there and I met a guy named Albert DiFiore who was a local. He now lives in Nashville, but He was a local producer. And at the time, I still was too nervous to play my stuff in front of anybody. I had like serious confidence issues. I just thought everything I did sucked, and I still have to work on that. But I I met him like in town, and I told him that I wanted to form a band. Like I had these songs, I wanted to record them so I could play them for people and maybe start a band. What did he have any ideas? And he said, let me hear him. And I played him for him. And he introduced me to his friend at the Rock Academy. And that's where I met Kendall and Mackie. And we started playing together. So Albert helped me at first, like with the songs. He helped me flush them out into real, when I say real songs, like move just beyond the basic structure of it, the couple chords and the melody and whatever. And then he brought Kendall and Mackie in, and I really liked them. And then we tried out a couple different guitar players, like local people in the community. This kid, Alex Waxman, who now has his own project. He's doing really well touring with that. And then another kid, Chogi Lama, joined for a little. And then it became like we recorded Beauty Pageant, our first record, which was mostly written by me. And then Kendall, her mom was getting together with this guy, Steve, and his son. So her like to-be stepbrother, Nick, came to see our show. He ended up joining. So we're almost a family band when their parents, they're gonna get married soon. But Nick joined 2018, and that was when it fully came together, and we started like meeting at my house a lot and writing what would become Skin Suit. And we did our first tours. We did like a small US run that I booked. Booking our first tour was the most painful thing I think I've ever done. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing, and it just took so much time. But we did, it was like 6 dates I got together, and then we liked it. We had fun. And then we got kind of the bug and kept doing it. And that was when John Spencer reached out and asked us to open for him. And I did not know who he was. And I said, we're busy, sorry. And then I was like, I think I should actually relook at that email. And I looked, and I'm gonna listen to this guy. And I listened to the Orange record, and I was like, oh shit, okay, this is awesome. Yep, we're available. And so that was great. And we got along well. Do you want me to keep talking or stop?
Well,
keep talking.
Look, there's a lot to cover there. So let's unpack a little bit if that's all right.
Sure.
So when you got together, what was that? 2017, 2018?
That was the 2017, and then we recorded Beauty Pageant 2017. But 2018 was when Nick joined. The end of 2017 was when Nick joined, and then in 2018, that's when we put out Beauty Pageant and started touring.
Got it. Okay. Yep. So was the vision for the band, I mean, the idea at the time was to record these songs and maybe play a few shows? Where were you thinking you would take this project?
I had seen a show with Albert in the city at a place called Berlin. And I said, wow, my dream is to play at Berlin, which is like a club down. It's a standard. I mean, I don't want to use the word standard. It's a club. It fits like, I don't know, 100 and something people. And I thought it would be like, wow, how does one ever do that? That was like beyond my wildest dream. And then that was our first show. We booked it there. But the only reason I think we got it, because we were like a band from upstate. We'd never played the city. You couldn't just play the city. But a movie I was in with Marilyn Manson called Let Me Make You a Martyr, which has now unfortunately been like taken offline. You can't find it anywhere. I think because of like some shit that went down with him, they just removed it, which sucks. So anyway, but they had a premiere for it in New York, and they had their after party at Berlin. So we got to play the after party. So that was our first New York City show. But our first real show was at a Chinese restaurant called Harmony. And there was one man eating, and that was it. That was our first show. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
I think most bands have a start that's very similar to playing to
Yeah.
very few folks. Were you nervous getting up there? I mean,
Yes.
again, you've come
Yes.
from acting, okay, but that didn't transfer.
No.
Okay.
No. My natural inclination is to hide when it's time to be in front of people. It's improved now over the last 5 years since we've been doing it.
You've,
But yeah.
if that's your natural inclination, you've chosen a very difficult career.
I know. I don't know what's wrong with me.
So, beauty pageant, that's something that did the band put that out themselves? Was there anyone
Yeah,
kind of behind helping out?
no, we found a pressing plant in Memphis. Albert actually hooked us up with that plant. He helped us find that. And then no, I talked to Memphis Pressing and coordinated that. We printed 300 was our first run. We sold out of that, and then we did another run, and then we did 500 and yeah, so we just put it out ourselves, threw it up on Spotify, and that was it.
How did you sell the records? Just at shows, or did
At
you have
shows and on it, we made a website. Kendall's our tech. She made our website, and she runs our Instagram, Facebook, all that. Thank God, because I'm not interested in any of that. So she's really taken that on, which is great.
So I don't know if you know this or not, but that original
What?
Beauty Pageant vinyl is quite collectible, quite expensive
Is it?
out there. Yeah, absolutely. Do you have a copy of it?
I have 2 copies.
Ooh, you're a collector now.
I have 2 copies. Yeah, we've had some interest recently of people wanting to do a repress. But yeah, we haven't. I don't know. It's nice to kind of hold on to something and keep that for yourself.
Of course. But yeah, those go for well over $100.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit! I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's funny.
And there was also a Beauty Pageant Redeux that came out.
Yeah. So my bad. I gave you a false statement when I said we repressed. We only did the first press of Beauty Pageant. I apologize. That was the first. Then we did Beauty Pageant Redux or Redux, however you want to say it, and that we recorded at our friends, and we wanted to add a couple new songs and just get like a more live sounding thing, and that's the one that we've been repressing now, and we still sell it on our website.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's with Nick now in the band. He wasn't on Beauty Pageant.
Correct.
Okay.
Nick was fully in then at that point. Yeah.
Did you feel that you had to kind of revisit those songs now that, the band was together with Nick and kind of this functional unit at that point?
It was not a conscious thought, but now that you say it, that sounds like a good idea and maybe what was going on.
Okay. And then this is around the time that Skin Suit came to be. Talk to us about the journey of Skin Suit.
Yeah, I really wanted to call it Gutter Milk because that was my favorite song, but the band, we vote on everything and I got outvoted. So now I have to say Skin Suit. But yes, that record we started writing that in 2018 and I remember John Spencer asked me for a copy of Beauty Pageant, and I was embarrassed. I was like, here it is, but I don't know about it. He's like, oh, if you're not happy, we could try again or try another thing. And I said, yes, that sounds great. And the way he worked was great. He came in, I booked some studio time. He came in, we ran through the songs once. He made some notes and he was like, all right, let's go. And then we did it in 3 days and just really quick, and he mixed it. We did it on 16 track tape, and that was it. Yeah.
So how was it for you and the band going from being self-produced with Beauty Pageant and having all the the control or the risk or the decision making to then inviting someone like John in? Was it comfortable? Was it challenging?
Well, we had Albert, the guy that I started writing with at first. He produced Beauty Pageant. So we did have someone giving us ideas because I had never been in a studio before. I didn't know I was super intimidated by like it sounds like this when I play it, but is this going to work? And we're going to tape, and we don't have that much time. With John though, it was cool because John is a musician, and I had total trust. We were just excited. I was like nervous and excited in a giddy way. And we had fun doing that one. That was really fun.
And the physical product came out on Alive Natural Sound Records. How did that connection happen?
So this very kind woman named Cynthia, who I don't even know her last name, she was in a group called the B Girls, and she saw us at a show in the city. And I guess she was friends with Patrick, the owner of Alive. And she said, I think this would be a good, she called me and she said she was managing another band. And she said, I'm getting out of management, but I think I'd like to help you guys. And that was like the first just act of kindness that was given to us, which was, I'll never forget that. And I hope to pass along to someone else when I am able to, because that was really amazing. And yeah, so then Patrick he really liked the record, and we put it out with him.
Now there's a few vinyl variants. There's an orange one, a regular black, there's blue.
Yes.
Do you remember any of the numbers? For example, the orange one, do you remember how many were made?
1,000. Shit, were there 1,000? That one sold out, I know, the orange one. And the blue one is now sold out, and I'm pissed because I didn't save one, so I don't have one. I'll have to buy one online or something one day. I know the black, there were a couple thousand. There was 1,000. They sold out. They did a reprint. The orange, I think there were only 200 made, actually. I can get these numbers for you if you want me to email you, but I don't know them factually right now.
That's all right. No. And by the way, yeah. I'm well aware that these sort of nerdy details are not always top of mind with people, but these are the sort of things that collectors kind of look for. Yeah.
Okay.
Now that orange one is, again, collectible, not quite as expensive as Beauty Pageant, the original pressing of that, but if you find an orange one, it'll definitely set you back $70 or $80.
Wow, interesting.
People love your band; they're looking for
that's
some
so
of these early
nice.
pressings.
Cool.
Now, when do you start hearing about some of the very established artists hearing about the Bobby Lees and being fans of the band?
The first person where we were like, whoa, Henry Rollins, which came about from Alive. Patrick, the owner of Alive, is friends with Henry and had played him our stuff, and he said Henry really loved it, and then Henry heard our new stuff when we had we made a video for Hollywood Junkyard, a song off Bellevue, and he showed it to Henry, and he was really into it and sent it to Greg, who's a co-owner of Ipecac with Mike Patton, and then they were into it, and then that's how that came about. So Henry was also incredibly helpful and generous, which was amazing. And then the Iggy Pop thing came about. That one was very exciting for me. I just heard our band name come out of his mouth, I was like, oh my God. That made me feel like, okay, some validation. That feels good. And also it was right. He played our song right after the Hives, and I love that band. So that was cool. And then the Blondie thing came about from, I don't know. And then recently, I'm a fan of Juliette Lewis, that actress, and I heard she was playing our stuff online or promoting us, which was also awesome because I like her.
Oh yeah. Well, that's amazing because, it's great watching a band that you really enjoy the music of and watching them just rise and just kind of building and building and building. And that's how I feel about your band. So you guys already had the video for Hollywood Junkyard before you made the agreement with Epicac?
We did that one on so that was in the time when you still couldn't tour, do anything. That was February 21. And we were down in Tulsa, which is where I have a place down there. My partner and I live down there, which I know is weird because the band's upstate, but we moved down there last year when shit got crazy during COVID and all the prices upstate went nuts. We got out of there and moved to Tulsa, and that actually helped the band for touring because we had like a middle, it's right in the middle of the United States, so we could route out of there and stuff. I just went really off topic. What were we talking about?
Boy, see, now you knocked me off topic.
I gotcha.
Sorry. The Hollywood Junkyard video.
So, okay, I'm rounding it. So we were down in Tulsa. We filmed it down there with our friends who have all the gear. And that's kind of the cheapest place where we can make anything because we have a bunch of friends down there that do that stuff. So we couldn't play. So we just was like, everyone wanted to do that. And so we spent a few days making that, and that was fun. And the record hadn't been mixed yet. We recorded it the end of 2020, but there was still, because Vance, we did it with this guy. I might be jumping ahead too far now, but we recorded it with,
Vance. Yeah. So Vance Powell was involved. How did he enter the picture of the Bobby Lees?
I very much love a lot of the Third Man Records stuff. And I like Jack White's sound a lot. And I looked at the back of Jack White's records, like the Dead Weather, and I saw Josh Smith on there. I could not find that guy's contact online. And I also saw Vance Powell's name. So I found his contact. So I emailed him, and I basically wanted to work with anyone relating to this who knows how to make this sound. How do I get in touch with them? And he wrote me back and basically was too busy. And I kind of not stalked him, but I definitely sent a few more emails. Hey, Vance, we're going to be in Nashville. You want to come see us play? Oh, we're back in Nashville. Do you want to see us play? And then he was at a festival we were on in 2019, the Muddy Roots Festival in Cookeville, Tennessee. And he was like, I'm going to be there. I'll meet up, so we met him there, and I was so nervous. I was freaking out. And we played. It was a really good show. I prayed in the porta potty right next to the stage. And then we played, and it was fun. It went really well. And he came up to me and gave me a hug and said, I'm in. And I didn't know what that meant. But then he's a very busy man and works all the time, all over the place. And so when COVID then happened, that was when time kind of freed up. And we drove down to Nashville in August of 2020. What the hell was that? 2020. And then we went back. So what was so cool about the process with him was he has his own studio. So whereas like with John, I rented a place, and same with Albert, I rented a place, or we rented a place. So with Vance, we got to do a week, and then we went back 2 months later, and he told us to write more stuff. So we wrote another, we went down there with, I thought was going to be the record, and it wasn't. He was like, okay, great. That's like half the record. Go write another, whatever. Mm-hmm. So we did that, and then went back in October. We ended on Halloween of 2020, and that felt good. I was really, it was just so cool to spend a day on a song, to give a song, as opposed to do most of the record in a day, or half the record in a day. And then we knew we wanted to go back again for a third week, but he got busy again. COVID we started touring, and we went, we were able to find time. When was that? December of last year. That was when we went back. We changed some stuff. We fucked around with a couple songs, like some things I heard that had bothered me. I wanted to change that the band felt strong about. And then we wanted to add in a cover of Be My Enemy, because we had just added that to our live shows. And it was really fun to play live. And that was that. Yeah. And then, so then the Ipecac thing came about. I started talking with them in the summer of 2021, so last summer, and then we made it official and decided to do the record with them earlier this year, and then it moved pretty quick from there. So
okay, so when you went to Ipecac, you had everything pretty much ready to go. It sounds like.
Yes.
Okay.
Except
video
we had,
and everything.
Well, we had one video, and then they helped us do some more stuff. So we made videos for Dig Your Hips, Ma Likes to Drink, and then we have another one coming out that called Bellevue. Like we just did one for the title track song. That one comes out like the day that the record's out on the 7th.
All right, that's an incredible story with Vance Powell. Just it really speaks to the tenacity and dedication that you and the band have. In terms of Bellevue, now it's coming out October 7th, and I want to remind folks they can order a Coke bottle clear version right now. It's limited to 500 units.
That's my favorite. Yeah, that one.
Yes, Coke bottle clear vinyl, 500 copies at thebobbylees.bandcamp.com. On Bellevue, there's one song on it that really stuck out to me, Greta Van Fake. It seemed to be the in a lot of the Bobby Lee songs, you could almost apply the topics to anything in life. It's general, but Greta Van Fake, it seems very direct. There's no mistake about what this song is about. It seems a bit like a diss track. Is that what it was intended to do? What was the thinking behind that?
We'll be back after these messages.
Psst. Well, hey everyone, it's Nate here. Rather than running our sponsor ads again, can I give a plug for our Patreon page here? Patreon.com/Vinyl Guide, where right now there is an extended interview and it's totally commercial free. And quite frankly, I'm sure you all know podcasts only really exist because of the support of the audience. And that's what I'm here to ask you for. Please consider supporting the show, $5 or $10 a month, whatever you can afford. Because if you're listening to this now, some into the episode, that's great. You're enjoying it. I'm glad you're enjoying it. For that, I would ask you to please consider supporting the show. Patreon.com/Vinyl Guide. It's super important. It's like a direct lifeline to us here, and it's a huge signal, and the support is so welcome and helps keep this podcast going. Each week I put extra stuff up there, extended interviews, and it's all ad-free, and it's early, and it's all that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you politely, please support the Vinyl Guide, patreon.com/Vinyl Guide. All right, that's it. Back to the show.
No limits.
In a lot of the Bobby Lee songs, you could almost apply the topics to anything in life. It's general, but Greta Van Fake, it seems very direct. There's no mistake about what this song is about. It seems a bit like a diss track. Is that what it was intended to do? What was the thinking behind that?
That was a joke song that me and Kendall she had come up with the riff for it. And the verses, I was thinking about a couple people in my life who basically told me I should, I would do best if I was like in the behind the scenes type part of the industry. Like I shouldn't be performing and stuff. So I thought one was an ex-boyfriend and one and one was an older friend. But they were both kind of full of shit, and I didn't really like their work. And so the Greta Van Fake thing, just at the time, it's hard when, how do you know if you're authentic or not? I have no idea, but I'm trying and I'm seeking that. And I want to get in touch with whatever's the most real thing I can find. And it's frustrating when we're a band that, we're trying our best. We're working our asses off and we're barely making any money. And then there's these bands that feel totally contrived and I don't know those guys. They could be nice guys. But I don't buy it. And the band, I just don't buy it. And I could be wrong, what do I know? But it can be frustrating when it feels like an act and it's working and it's like tricking everybody, or I almost want to be like, hello, do you not see that this doesn't feel right? But yeah, so that's how that was a joke. I did not think we were going to record that. And then I sent it to Vance and he didn't even listen to it. And he said, I'm in, I love the title. Like the title alone, like, great, let's go. So that was funny, but yeah. So I guess it's more of a I don't know, just I feel like anyone in their life can have a Greta Van Fake, like someone that they just might be doing it the way they want to do it, but they don't feel like the intentions are pure, and that nice guys finish last kind of feeling you can have. Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people are disagreeing with it. It was just, it's very bold to put it out there that way.
That's what people said, but I don't, I don't know. Is it? I don't know.
I guess in an in an industry or in a where people tend to not take as many risks, perhaps, or you've got a certain percentage of politicking, perhaps. Sometimes it's safer and easier to not do that, but. Look, I think, again, it's maybe it goes to the authenticity of the Bobby Lees, where it's like, look, here's something that we don't like, and we're going to be very open about it.
Yeah, I think if you start to get scared to say something, that freaks me out. I don't want to ever be scared to say how I feel about something, especially when, like, if I don't share how I feel, I can tell all kinds of stories in my head or start to feel crazy. I think it's really great. I love when people say exactly how they feel, even if that's not a popular opinion,
Mm-hmm. I would imagine with a lot of the songs, many of them are very raw and real still to you. The emotion is very near the surface. Are there any songs that you play when you play live, it's sometimes even difficult for you because it's so personal?
I don't think so. I feel like I'm there to it's weird. I have fear about certain aspects of performing, but I don't have fear about completely opening myself up and sharing exactly what's going on. Like I've cried before on stage if I'm feeling I don't know. I feel like that's what we're there to do. It's like we get 40 minutes to just put all of our energy and whatever's going on internally, like put it out there. And after that's why I think I do it. Cause after I feel like, a towel that got wrung out, like my spirit feels like it got wrung out and I can like sit in my own skin and feel like, okay. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That kind of went off the rails of your question.
No, but I mean, is it difficult being that vulnerable in front of a crowd of people?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay. Well, Sam, look, I got to tell you, Bellevue, a great record. And I want to recommend everyone head up to thebobbylees.bandcamp.com. It's out October 7th on streaming. There's some songs right now you can download and set yourself up for the rest of the album. There's 500 Coke bottle clear vinyls available at thebobbylees.bandcamp.com. Grab one because, as you know, a lot of the Bobby Lee stuff, it goes quick and then it's hard to find once it's gone. And hopefully we will be seeing the Bobby Lees. Where can we find your tour dates, by the way, Sam?
You can go on our website, www.thebobbylees.com. It's also in our link tree on Instagram. We have our tour dates listed. But yeah, as of now, we're doing just the US the rest of this year, and then we'll be coming back to Europe next year at some time, and maybe I hope to Australia. We shall see. We played with the Chats a couple times. That's the only Australian band we know.
Oh, they're fantastic. Yeah, there's some great bands coming out of Australia. So we hope to see you down here soon. Anyway, thanks again, Sam. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
There we have it, Sam of the Bobby Lees, the new album Bellevue, out October 7th. The BobbyLees.bandcamp.com is where you can get those limited vinyl pressings, so make sure to grab one before they're gone. And if the Bobby Lees are touring anywhere near you, make sure to check out their show. It looks amazing, and I can't wait for them to get to Australia. That's it for this episode of The Vinyl Guide. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please share these episodes on your social media. Put them on your Facebook, tweet them out on Twitter, regram on Instagram, and please take a moment to leave us a positive review on iTunes. Give us, 5 out of 5 or 10 out of 10 stars. Say something nice. Try to make us blush. That is always appreciated. And we'll be back shortly with a brand new episode. So until we talk next time, get out there and buy some records, people. Cheers.
That's it for this episode of The Vinyl Guide. Send your thoughts to Nate at thevinylguide.com or follow or tag us on Instagram at Vinyl Guide. Until next time, keep spinning.